Okay, welcome back. Wait, need enterprise. We have done what is departmental undertakings. One is statutory corporation and one is government company. So we have already finished what is actually the government undertakings and their features, their advantages, their limitation we all learned. In the previous class we started the statutory corporation. I discussed with you that what is statutory corporation, how this comes to existence, what are the merits, what are the features of statutory corporation. Today we will discuss one thing is left in previous class, that is what is disadvantages or limitation of this type of organization, that is statutory corporation. The first disadvantages of statutory corporation is theoretical autonomy. Theoretical autonomy. Now what is theoretical autonomy? Now you know, when I discuss about the advantages, I told you that this type of organization is free from government interference. There is not much government interference, as these companies actually not directly concerned at government ministry, okay, as departmental undertaking. In the case of departmental undertaking, the railways, there is a Ministry of Railways, okay, that is Doordarshan, that is come under Broadcasting Ministry, okay, that is defense sector, that comes under defense ministry. But in case of statutory corporation, these companies actually comes into existence after a special act passed by the parliament. They are set up and their function, day-to-day function is not periphery or comes under directly from government. Though actually, but what is, we are again saying this is a theoretical autonomy. Why? Because theoretically they said there is a no interference of government or political party, but in practical there is a interference of government and there is no autonomy. There is a autonomy is there, but there is not such type of autonomy present in this type of organization, that is statutory corporation. Now suppose Reserve Bank of India, Reserve Bank of India is a statutory corporation, and Reserve Bank can make their own decision, and this decision actually followed by the other banks. But in case of if you Reserve Bank, sometimes they want to, that is some extent, that is limitation, there is a limitation actually, the some extent they can formulate their own policy, they can say what is the interest rate. But if the bigger decision if they have to take in case of economy, that is they have to allocate funds to this type pandemic situation, and that time they actually this type of this time the decision cannot they take by their own. The government interfere and they take decision what is the pandemic situation, what is the fund allocated to which bank, and what type of, in the case of merger, how they merge, which bank merge with bank. Now recently some of the public sector bank, okay, merge, that is one of the example is Punjab National Bank. Punjab National Bank merge, Punjab National Bank actually merge with UBI and Oriental Bank of Commerce. So this type of decision cannot take by the Reserve Bank of India. That's why it is rightly said that is theoretical autonomy is there, but practically their autonomy is not as much as they said in the case of advantages. Whatever the advantages we said in this case, in this type of company, they comes under some of the disadvantages. Now second is government interference. Second is government interference. Government interference. Now what government, as I discuss, so there is a government interference whenever they take a big decision, because large fund involved by the government. Actually these companies borrows fund from the government, so government always involved is there. There is always some influence in the government. In the case of even in the case of recruitment also, in the case of recruitment of the employee, the government sometimes interferes. Who is the governor of the RBI bank is not actually the very fair enough. Okay, the government decides who is the government. Okay, there is RBI is not much sufficient to recruit a governor for the Reserve Bank of India. So there is always a government interference. This is one of the disadvantages, because though they are autonomous body, but government interference their operation, their recruitment process, their big decision making process. Hope you are understanding. Now corruption. Corruption is another disadvantages. Corruption. Now every level, as this is not actually very far from government purview. Okay, these companies, as they deal with some public also, so there is rampant corruption is there. Rampant corruption means there is a big level corruption is happen in this company, because the government, as government involved in this type of companies, this type of organization, actually not companies, this type of organization. So there is always a corruption. Even nowadays, if you see the private sector enterprises, there is also corruption. There is also there are other managers, sometimes very much corrupted. Okay, the best example of this corruption you can see in the case of demonetization. When happened, the private bank managers, some of the private bank managers also very much doing things like that. So they are corrupted. That's why they actually exchange money, big money they exchange in their different type of accounts. Okay. So this type of corruption always is there. As this is a government company, so corruption is rampant in here. So this is one of the disadvantages of statutory corporation. Now one is delay in action. Number 4 is delay in action. Delay in action means sometimes what happened, the government often appoints advisor. Actually these companies, this organization actually, the main one of the, there is always a representative of the government who actually suggests, who actually advise them how the works will be done. But actually in practical field, when government you are advising you something, that may be that actually the order. So you have nothing to do, you have to follow their order, and so there is no freedom entering into contract on other decision. Always you have to take decision or suggestion from this particular person who is actually appointed by the government. And this type of thing, whenever you have taking decision, there is government, there is lots of procedure is there. So whenever you take any big decision according to your environment changes, then you have to take permission from the government advisor, and they actually, there is lot of working document procedure is there, and for that, after all, there is an action, the decision which actually take in implementing an action, that will be very delayed process actually. Okay, so this is one of the disadvantages. I hope what are the disadvantages of statutory corporation you now understand. Now Debargo, say me, what is the one of the disadvantages of the statutory corporation? Just write your message box. Devargo, write your message box. What is one of the advantages of statutory corporation? Devargo, am I audible to you? Can you listen me? Devargo, can you listen me? You just write the one of the disadvantages of the statutory corporation. Write in your chat box. Are you there? No response comes from you. Is not coming from you. Sir. Type 2. Am I audible, Devargo? Can you listen me? Your responding is so late. Why? I'm just discuss about the what are the limitation of statutory corporation. You do not know what is the one of the limitation of the statutory corporation. Just write down 1 or 2 points. What are the limitation? Write down the point. Am I audible? Now, last form of public sector enterprise is government company. Government company. Now, what is government company? A government company means any company which not less than 51, this figure is important, 51% of the paid up capital is held by the central government or by any state government or partly by central government and partly by one or more state governments. Now, what is the definition? What is government company? A government company means any company. A government company means any company which not less than 51% of the paid up capital. Less than not less than, this point is very important, not less than 51% of the paid up capital is held by the central government or by any state government, or partly by central government or partly by one or more state government. Okay, so what is the definition? The government company is that company that is which have a share. So whose share? Government share is that company not less than 51%, minimum 51% share will be there. That may be 60, 70, 80, but and that will be held by the central government, either central government or state government. Okay, or partly by central government and partly by the state government, and that companies are called government company. Okay, and according to Companies Act 2013, according to Companies Act, you are writing, okay, according to Companies Act 2013, these companies rule and regulation as per Companies Act, rule and regulation are followed as per Companies Act 2013, and any company registered under Act 1956 before 2013 Companies Act, there is the Companies Act was 1956. If that act, some companies are registered under that act and there is a 51% paid up capital, then again this company also called the government company. Okay. If the company must be registered with according to as per provision of Companies Act 1956 or according to provision of Companies Act 2013. Both are called government company. One condition is there, it should be owned partly or fully by the state or central government, and there will be not less than 51% share. Now, there is two type of government companies there. Okay, write it. Whenever you finish, you just write the completed. Okay. Listen carefully. You do not know what is the limitation of the statutory corporation. I just discuss about, not you just listen and learn whatever I am telling you, because these things are very important. Okay. Have you done? Okay, I am rubbing it. A government company means any company which is not less than 51% of the paid up capital is held by the central government or by any state government or partly by central government or partly by one or more state government. Okay. Have you completed? Response fast, Debargo. Now, the government company is two types. One is wholly owned government company, one is partly government company. Which is wholly owned government company? If this government company share, central government or state government share is 100%, then it will be called wholly owned government company. If the share is not less than 100%, means the 70%, 80%, 90%, but more than 51%, that company is called partly owned government company, not the fully owned government company. Okay. And some other share who actually hold? The public. The public, the stock through stock market can purchase the other type. There is a 100% share of every company. If government owns 51%, then 49% share must be held to other public or private owners. Okay, so these companies are called partly owned government company, and one is 100% share, and this company is called wholly owned government company. Wholly owned government company. So at least 51% share should be the government share should be there. Otherwise, this company is not called as a government company. Okay. What should I repeat? Now, two things I have said. Two types of government companies there. One is fully owned government company. One is partly owned government company. Which company will say fully owned? If the 100% share of government is any companies is there, if the government total share is 100%, then we will call this is a fully owned government company. If that is, if one company that is less than 100% means 90% share was there and 10% share is actually held by the public. So these companies are called partly owned government company. Hope have you understood this? Have you understood this? What is partly owned government company? What is fully owned government company? And a government company, which company we will call government company? If their government total minimum share should be 51%, minimum, that is the minimum. Maximum 70, 80, 90, 100 can be happen. Minimum share should be 51%. Otherwise, we do not call these companies as a government companies. And who is act actually governed by this government company? The Companies Act 2013. Okay, previously it was 1956. Now this is new rule has come. New Companies Act is come in the year of 2013, and this act is called Companies Act 2013. According to this, their rules, these companies should be maintain their accounts, they should be actually audited their balance sheet or everything they have to done according to this Companies Act 2013. Okay, and government had no hand of that. So now comes to the features. What is the features of this government company? First feature is, now what is the example? Some of the example of government companies: Steel Authority of India, Steel Authority of India Limited, that is SAIL. Okay, we are called as SAIL, Steel Authority of India Limited. Bharat Heavy Electrical Limited, BHEL, Gas Authority of India. Okay, Bharat Earth Movers Limited. These are all are government companies, example of government companies: Steel Authority of India, Bharat Heavy Electrical Limited, Gas Authority of India. Okay, Indian Oil Corporation. Indian Oil Corporation is a statutory corporation, not the company. Now, what are the other example of government companies? Government PSU. Anything you know? What are the government companies? There's a lots of government companies are there, but day by day these are investment. Coal India. Coal India comes under departmental undertaking because there is a coal ministry is there. Now there is some difference of departmental undertaking, some difference in statutory corporation, and some difference in government company. And what the differences you can get from their definition. Okay. Now come under features. The first feature is incorporation. First feature is incorporation. Features of government company. First feature is incorporation. Now, as I said, this government company incorporated according to Companies Act 2013, and they follow the rule and regulation as stated by the Companies Act 2013. And not, this company is not formed by a special act. A special act as formed in statutory corporation. No special legislative or parliament special act, no special act actually passed by the parliament to form this type of companies. Actually from executive decision they form the government companies, not their, and these companies followed the rule and regulation of according to Companies Act 2013. Okay. Now second is separate legal entity. Separate legal entity. What is separate legal entity? You know the government companies different from is government. Okay. Government company is different from the government. Okay. Now, so they have separate legal identity, they are separate person from they can enter some contract, they can own their own property, they can suit and be sued by others. These are the features of legal separate legal entity. So the as per company, as company, when we discuss about the joint stock company, we said one of the company's feature is they are the artificial person and they are the separate legal entity. In case of government company also, they are the separate legal entity, different person from their government. Okay, the government is not the person, the company is the artificial person. They have separate legal entity, and as this is a separate legal entity, they can enjoy their own rights to sign, that is common seal, and they can own their own property of their own name. Suppose Steel Authority of India, if there is the assets actually held by this company, cannot the government property, this is actually the property of this company, the Steel Authority India Limited. Have you understood? Okay. Now third is management. Third is management. In the case of joint stock company, who is the management? Now shareholders elected the management, that is board of director. In case of government company also, here maximum shareholding held by the government. So he decided who are the board of directors. Who manage the company? The board of directors will be manage the company as per provision of the Companies Act 2013. Okay. The provision of Companies Act 2013, the government elected the board of directors because they are the maximum shareholder. Because their minimum share will be 51% of any company, any government company. Okay. So number 4 is governed by the memorandum and article of association. Governed by the memorandum and article of association. Governed by the memorandum and article of association. Now every company has their own memorandum and article of association. Okay, memorandum actually deals with the rules and regulation actually make for the outer parties. Memorandum is actually built for the rules and regulation of the company, built for the outer parties. An article of association also what is the objective of company, and rules and regulation followed by the internal members of the company. Okay. So this is the governed by the memorandum and article of association. These companies should have a memorandum and article of association which govern, which actually these are the rules for specify when the actually these companies set up. Okay. In time of incorporation of a company, they should build the memorandum and article of association, so that their rule and regulation, their objective, how they work, that all are written in here. So in the case of government company also, there should have a memorandum and an article of association. And memorandum actually deals with outer parties, and these are the regulation, rule and regulation for outer parties, and association of article of association is the rule and regulation of internal members of the company. And what is the objective of company? What are the capital? All the details you can find from the memorandum and article of association of any company. Every company have a memorandum and article of association. Okay. Even regulation relating to employees appointment also written in this article of association and memorandum. Okay. Appointment of employees also actually written there, how they can recruit the people. They will take the only interview, or there can be a written exam. After that there will be interview, there will be a group discussion. All are actually rule and regulation of recruiting of people, that is employee or human resource we can say. Nowadays the employee are called as human resources. This how they actually recruited these human resources of their company also written in this memorandum and article of association. And number 5 is accounting and audit procedure. Accounting and audit procedure. Now, what is accounting and audit procedure? There is in case of government company, they should follow the rule of accounting as per provision of Companies Act 2013, and they have to maintain the accounting standard. Okay, as per Companies Act, they say that you have to maintain whenever you have a recording your transaction, whenever you are making your profit and loss, balance sheet, all you will learn later. This type of accounting process would be governed by the Companies Act 2013, and audit procedure also governed by the Companies Act 2013. And your annual report have to present. Their annual report, this government company's annual report should be present in Parliament or state legislature by the auditor appointed by the central government. The auditor means audit checking of this accounting procedure. Audit means check how they are, whatever income they made, actually they made or not, whatever expense they are paid, they are actually paid or not. This type of things actually checked by the auditor. What is that their actual income is suppressed, or this is that their actual income, according to that they actually paid the tax or not. All are these are so by the auditor, and this auditor actually appointed by the government. Okay, central government appoint the auditor to check the accounts they maintain, and accounts is maintained as per Companies Act 2000, provision of Companies Act 2013, and they have to produce their annual report, okay, in Parliament and the public also. They have to produce their annual report in Parliament and public also. Now, last point is finance. Now, finance, what from they get finance? So, as I said, at least 51% capital actually comes from the government side. Actually, minimum 51%. This is the minimum amount. Minimum 51% capital of this company invested by the government. So, large amount of finance actually made by the government in this company, or state government. Partly state government, partly central government can be hold this minimum 51%. So, government is the main financer of this type of company. Okay, government is the main shareholder, owner of this company. So, these are the features of the government company. Next we will discuss about the advantage, disadvantages of government company. Hope you have understand. So, thank you for today. Hope you are safe and well in your home. If there is any problem, you can ask. If there is any problem, you can ask. Okay, thank you.